Alright, so in this video I'm going to be showing the best keyboard and mouse settings for Chapter 6 Star Wars season, and let's just jump right into it. So basically I'm just going to be showing you some settings that help me get better on keyboard and mouse, and they work for you if you play keyboard and mouse all the time, or you're new to it, or even if you're just new to the game completely. Um, and basically these are the settings I use to improve, and if any of you watch my channel, you will know that I'm still kind of relatively new to keyboard and mouse. I think it's been like 5 months, or 6. Alright, let's not comment that. Like 5 to 7 months, still pretty new. And these are the settings that I use. So well, let's just get into them. So first, these are just graphics. I mean, I have a PS4 with I have a monitor, but I can't really do much. This is just the default audio. This is just your preference too, and then and the settings don't start until here. So whatever server you're closest to, that's what you want to use. You may think, oh, okay, auto is the lowest number. You don't want to use auto. I did an Ace intro because I'm in Texas, so yeah, it just makes the most sense for me. And then well, this is just a lot of this is your preference. I would have this off, but it's your choice too. Just because if you're like, say you can't like in a tournament, a 1v1, so you were hiding behind a door. If you look at the door, it's just gonna open. Yeah, these are pretty basic. Reset building choice. Yeah. Oh, this is actually important. You want this off. This has to be on. You'll never be good at the game if this is off. Because basically, if you don't know, turbo building is basically it's really simple. It's this. It's that. Because if you didn't have turbo building on, you'd place it, place it, place it. But if you have turbo building on, you can just hold it down and spin. So I'm pretty sure everybody already knows what that is, but just in case you didn't. So okay, let's get back into it. And then simple edit. This is your choice. I would think it's off because I think it's dumb that some people have spent so long trying to master editing in Fortnite, and people can just do this and be great at it. So I really don't like this. And then disable pre-edit option, you're gonna want on, and then auto confirm edits on both. And then this is just, I don't really mess with this. So this is whatever you want. And then I would turn replays on, just because if you want to look back at your gameplay like pros do, you can look back at the past like 30 minutes. So again, UI reticle, or you want this on, but I only have it off because I have a custom crosshair. You want this on. Unless you have a custom crosshair, because this is basically your crosshair. Aim indicator on, show spread, first person on, just a lot of this. See, this is either way, however you feel comfortable. Yeah, this is whatever you like. And then hit only, and then just the normal stuff. If you know anything about settings, it doesn't get, these two are where it starts. These two are where it really starts to get in. So, but we'll be there in a second. Resources, I'll just scroll through. I don't really need to talk about this much. This is just pretty basic stuff. And then I don't think gyro aiming off. That should be it. Yeah. And then I'll just do this again for y'all because this doesn't really. Now this is the real setting. This is the sensitivity, and then we'll get into the settings. So you want to have these really close, like everything together. You want to have it close. Like you can see, I like my editing sensor a little faster, and I like my x-axis a little faster. But this should be the same. Targeting the scope. It doesn't. I have it at 50. It doesn't have to be at 50, but it should be about the same. So. And then building and editing, yeah, close. I like my editing a little faster. And then this, again, that's your preference. A lot of these are your preference. And then we just got this, and that's it for that. And then this is where the keybinds come in. WASD, that's basic. Auto run, I don't have a button. I don't have a button for any of these. You can if you want, but I don't see a necessary need for it. Now crouch, I do shift. I think that's pretty basic. And then sprint, I do caps because the way my keyboard is, that's the easiest for me to press. Jump, spacebar. If you don't use spacebar to jump, well, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I think everybody does. Fire, yeah, it's basic stuff. Reload R, pickaxe. I use the apostrophe, or not the apostrophe, but I don't know what it's called, but I use this button because for me, if you have a smaller keyboard, this is the same, but I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and right next to 1 is that. so it's easier for me to press. So I don't, because my fingers aren't long enough for me to press 6. Some people do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, but I don't have enough. I don't have long enough fingers for that. So yeah. And then use is E, but I pretty much just use scroll wheel, so it's just picking up and stuff like that. Yeah. Targeting, yeah, there's that. Now wall. See, for you want to, if I would recommend side buttons if you don't have them already. If you play keyboard and mouse. Floor, I do C, and roof, I do V. But then wall, I do my back side button, the closest to where I am, the back, and then my front side button I use for ramp. So yeah, I think you want to do that. That's pretty good. And then trap, I do X because that's pretty easy. I think the default is T, but that's just kind of awkward. If you're trying to edit and place a trap, you can't really do that. So that's why, yeah. And place, yeah, everybody has that. Repair A, yeah. Rotate. Now changing materials. I think everybody has this, but that's just me. And then you want to do building edit. You want to do F like normal, unless your finger. Some people like G because their finger's longer, but I like F. And then you want to use scroll wheel down because then, well, I'll get to that in a second. Select build and edit, yeah. Because then you can reset it with this. You have to have it on this too, so it like has less delay when you go to reset a wall. You just scroll wheel down instead of having to edit and then reset. Yeah. You just do this instead of having to like you would on controller. So, yeah. And then what do we have next? What was that? What were we on? We were on building. Yeah, so you need to have this as the second bind for building edit. And then place marker, and you just push down on that button right there, the middle button. Same thing for this, you just don't have it. Push to talk T, should never use that really. Chat, yeah, this is just emo. I use N because B. See, most people use B, but for me, if you look down at your keyboard, B and V are next to each other, and every time, like, if I'm in an intense situation and I try to press my phone too fast, I start emoting. So yeah, and then I don't have this binded. Yeah. What was that? I don't know what that was. Oh, well, somebody joined my match. Huh. Okay, well, let's get back into the settings. That's pretty much it. Yeah. That is it. Keybinds, I think that's pretty much it. The rest is just, let me think. Yeah, the rest is just all that. So, hope you enjoyed. Hope this helped. Bye, guys.